Hello from Hollywood. My name is Anthony Boyer. I've been a talent agent in Los Angeles and New York for the last 15 years, and this is Take Fountain. On this episode, I'm going to talk about books that I believe every actor should read. There are a lot of books on acting technique, but today we're not going to talk about those. We're going to talk about the books that can actually help you build a career. As we've talked about many times on this channel, an acting career is not just acting, it's also a career. And so like building any small business, it helps to have business skills, and being a great actor isn't just about talent, right? It's about networking, it's about discipline, it's about navigating an unpredictable industry. The first book I would like to talk about is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I've talked about this book on the channel a lot, and it is the classic book on communicating and on relationship building. Why does it matter for actors? Well, it helps with auditions, it helps with industry relationships, and it helps with making a strong impression on people. As Dale Carnegie says in the book, people work with people they like, right? If I asked you, if I said, hey, I'm making a movie, who do you think I should cast? You're gonna think of your friends, you're gonna think of people you like. Well, this book helps you be one of those people. People remember how you make them feel. That's what Dale Carnegie says throughout this entire book. Small things like smiling, remembering people's names, listening, those things leave a lasting impression. And this book drills those and teaches techniques that you can use to just win friends and influence people, right? There's a story about David Letterman on the set of his Late Show, where people would talk about how he knew every crew member's name. He would come onto set and he would say hello to everybody. And what really strikes me about that is that it is so rare that people mention it. Jensen Ackles is another one on the set of Supernatural. Jensen Ackles made a point of knowing everybody's name. Jamie Lee Curtis is famous for having crew wear name tags so that she knows their names. And these are all just like really small ways to make an impact, to just know who people are, the people you work with every day. And it really shows the fact that we even know these stories, A, how rare it is and how much it sets you apart, but B, how advantageous it can be just to take a minute and get to know somebody and make something about someone other than yourself. This book encourages a collaborative mindset. Acting is a team effort. The best actors, the best careers are built on strong and positive relationships. We talked about it again and again and again. The people in your network are what are going to move you forward as an actor and as a business person. And this book, there's none better at helping teach those skills. The next book that I'd like to talk about is Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. Now, this book is a deep dive into networking and building meaningful business relationships. It matters because we've talked about building a network is, first of all, one of the most important skills that anyone in any business can have. But second of all, it's a skill set that doesn't come naturally to a lot of actors. Actors are typically quite gregarious. Many actors are outgoing and extroverted and make friends easily. Not all actors, but many. But that's a little bit different than actually building and maintaining a professional network. So this is a book that talks about how to do that without being fake or transactional. And anytime people feel like you only reach out to them when you want something, that's going to read and it's not going to build a very good relationship. So in this industry, relationships create opportunities, and this book teaches you how to foster them. Key takeaways from this book: it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. I think that is an important takeaway. It also talks about the value of following up. You can reach out to any of a number of people. You can meet any of a number of people. You can say hello to someone at a film screening or run into someone at a party. But if you don't know how to follow up, which this book will teach you, it's of incredibly limited value. So, a simple email or a coffee can keep you on someone's radar, and this book teaches techniques to do that. It also talks about giving before you ask, or what I like to call leading with value, leading with service. How can you provide value to someone and not just ask for something from them? And so this talks about how to support others, how to offer value first, and see the benefits of that come your way. The next book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is an incredibly popular book these days in all industries. This book is a guide to making small, consistent improvements over time, which is something that we can all use no matter whatever industry. It helps with discipline. It helps with auditioning. It helps with training, with marketing yourself, with just getting better sort of at life, building better systems, learning better, and adapting. Success isn't about massive action. It's about daily habits that move you forward. And Atomic Habits is specifically about building, creating, and improving those habits. Now, key takeaways from this book are, number one, tiny changes lead to big results, right? Even setting aside 10 minutes a day to work on a monologue or vocal warm-ups adds up over time. Talks about habit stacking, which is when you attach a new habit like checking Actors Access, for instance, or self-submitting to an existing one like, say, your morning coffee. And it also has in it the 2-minute rule, which means if something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Things like that are just actionable, small things you can do to make small improvements that over time lead to big changes. The next book I would like to talk about is The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Now, you might think I'm talking about the art of war, but I'm not. I'm talking about the war of art. This book tackles creative resistance and procrastination. Steven Pressfield is a screenwriter, if you will, and he talks about his process of avoiding procrastination and how procrastination is the enemy to art. Now, I will admit this was a tough read for me personally, maybe partially because I'm not an artist, but I think everyone I've talked to who is an artist who has read this really resonates with it. Why it matters for actors specifically is because, fear over auditions, self-doubt, creative blocks, fear over networking or, getting in a new class or doing something to improve your life. These are real, and this book helps you push through them. It helps you get rid of all the excuses that you make, all the things you tell yourself on a day-to-day basis that you should be doing. This book, I think, inspires you and pushes you towards showing up every day because, as he says in the book, showing up every day is half the battle. You have to put in consistent effort if you want consistent results. And this book talks about that, not just waiting for inspiration to strike. Key takeaways for this book. Number one, resistance is the enemy. So if something feels hard, that is exactly why you need to do it. Because that resistance, that is the enemy. That is what's going to keep you from moving forward in your career. Number two is you got to treat acting like a profession. We talk about this all the time on this channel. Acting is a profession. You have to show up even when you don't feel like it, right? If you're a bricklayer, you've got to show up to the job site every day and lay bricks. If you are an actor, you have to show up every single day and work on your craft, work on your business. And then also fear means that you're on the right path. That is another big takeaway from this book. If you're scared, it's usually a sign that you're growing and pushing past that fear, getting through those blocks is the key to moving forward. The next book I would love to talk about is The Lean Startup by Ries. This is a book specifically about entrepreneurship. Acting is a business too, as we've talked about many times on this channel. And this book helps you treat your career like a business, not just like an art form. Again, there are a lot of books about acting technique, but this is a book that will help you figure out how you can take that technique, that product you've built over time, and move it forward and make it something that can change the world. It teaches adaptability. It teaches something, that is crucial in an ever-changing industry. Just staying on your toes, knowing what the trends are, knowing what to avoid, what to adopt, being keyed in and being flexible and adaptable. This book covers all of that. Some key takeaways: you want to test and adjust. So just like startups tweak their product offering, you need to experiment with different branding, with different classes, headshots, strategies, things that, may not come naturally to you. If something isn't working, you need to move on and try something else. Number two is you don't want to wait for the perfect opportunity. How many times have you been sitting at home, you're looking through the breakdowns, like, I don't know, this one doesn't really speak to me. This isn't the super, it's so easy to make excuses to not do the work. It's so easy to make excuses to not show up. And this book really talks about, don't wait for that perfect opportunity, right? You got to get your work out there. You have to, self-produce if necessary, whatever it takes to get your product onto the proverbial market. And then number 3, your career is a long-term game, right? Success doesn't happen overnight. It's about consistent action over time. But the longer you wait to start, or the longer you wait to get serious about it, the longer it's going to take. There's a domino effect to action. If you create action right now, it knocks over that next domino, and that next domino, and that next domino. Taking action early, understanding it's a long-term game, and that you need to start earlier than later, that's a big thing that this book teaches. The next book I would like to talk about is Grit by Angela Duckworth. This is a study on perseverance and resilience. Why it matters for actors. Well, acting careers are built on persistence. Talent is great, but grit is what keeps you going after 100 auditions. It's a business about failure, but every business is a business about failure, right? Auditions that don't go anywhere, submissions that don't result in auditions, agents saying no, managers saying no, producers saying no. There's a lot of failure built into this, and you need grit and determination and resilience to push past that. This book is fantastic for that. Some key takeaways. Number 1, passion plus perseverance equals success. Now, that should really speak, I think, to most actors. Not quitting is a superpower. Pushing through resistance is a superpower. Just stay on your feet. Every rejection is a step towards the right role. So if something didn't happen for you, that wasn't the right role for you, but you need to keep going, because you will find that right role if you can just stay on your feet, stay in the game. The last takeaway is really just that effort matters more than raw ability. Hard work beats talent when the talent doesn't work hard, right? Make the effort, put in the time, have the grit, the determination, the resilience. This is a fantastic book. So to recap, these books aren't about acting at all, actually. They're about mindset, they're about habits, and they're about relationships. And those things make acting careers possible. You still have to lock down the acting. You still have to get great at acting. You have to be in class. You have to be putting out work. But there are so many other parts to it, right? You have to be networking. You have to be productive. You have to be able to brand your product. You have to have resilience. These are all important and all crucial for success. If you got value out of this episode, click that thumbs up button. And hey, why don't you subscribe while you're at it? Click that notification bell. You get alerted every single time we have a new episode. My name is Anthony Boyer. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Take Fountain. Thanks so much for watching. I said video. But you get alerted every time we have a new episode. Anyway, my name is Anthony Boyer. You've been watching. I could smell the barn. Damn it. Okay.